Hi everyone, welcome back to Hope and Coffee, where we are on the relationship train and it is not going very well. It is constantly derailing, it is constantly going off tracks, and it is not going in a very good direction. But we are going to bring you more bad dating stories, and that is just what we're going to do today. Now, I've had a couple of false starts where my camera just loves to turn off after a few seconds, so we're going to try to muscle on through and see how far we get. But this is going to come from the website thecut.com for men who do not get better with age. While the women interviewed in our story are in their 20s and 30s and date men in their age group, readers suggest they don't necessarily get better with time. You may, for example, find yourself offering your date some free divorce counseling. So, I tend to date a little bit younger than my current age range, only because I tend to find, and this is just me personally, that people in my age range do not match with what I'm currently looking for. It seems as though people in my current age range are a little bit more ready to settle down. They tend to have kids. They tend to be much more eager for marriage, and those sorts of things. I'm not really in that kind of position. I am quite independent. I have a good career. I'm not overly eager or necessarily needing of a partner or anything of that nature. So I tend to date younger with the hope that I can find someone who's fun, outgoing, who's willing to go on adventures and those sorts of things. I'm hopeful that someone can kind of like meet me where I am. And I don't want to say that I'm mentally feeling younger than my age range, but that is kind of what it is I feel as though I am younger than where my age is. I am not quite ready to settle down. I do not want kids. I already have my career established and I'm doing very well in it. I've been there 15 years. And though I move around quite frequently, and I have moved around through several offices, love when the opportunity arrives to move and explore different cultures. So with all that being said, that's one of the reasons I tend to like dating in a younger demographic. Because it seems as though they're a little bit more willing to take those leaps and to look forward to possibly taking steps for moving or travel or those sorts of things. They possibly don't have things that tie them to one particular place. So let's dive into LH29, who said, "Let me tell you about my last 3 dates/matches. So, male 43 forgot his wallet. So she paid for everything on the first date, which is fine. And same thing. I have no issues paying on the first date. Never been an issue, although we probably would communicate that early on. Although I think I would communicate like if they're like, how did the first date go? Because she then says second date was fine, no fireworks, but he was nice and on the shy side. I've had dates that have gone like that, where met up with a guy, he was fun, he was nice, and I don't want to say nice as though, quote unquote nice guy. I wanted to give this guy a chance. He seemed quite enjoyable. But I also thought that I was going to be a bit more of a spitfire than he was going to be able to handle. And so second date comes along, no real fireworks, but things are going, he's still very nice. He's quite shy. On the shy side, this is again not me, the guy that I'm kind of referencing from my personal experience, was again younger. But this girl, third date, realized he never actually asked me any questions and she was driving the whole conversation. So I let the awkward silences happen. The server dropped off the bill at the restaurant he had picked out, and he just looked at it and looked at me, and the waiter said, and waited. So she said, "Let's split this." So this was on date 3, and she had said, "Let's split this." So if he forgot his wallet, quote unquote, forgot his wallet on the first date, so she paid for everything. Second date, I kind of wonder who paid. Third date, he's still looking at her to like, "Oh, are you going to pay for this one too?" Yeah, I'm going to say go ahead and let's split this because I'm not paying for you again. And then she realized she's driving the whole conversation. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and be like, you know what? We've already reached the third time. Nothing is happening. The chemistry is not flowing. And now you're looking at me like you want me to sugar mama your way through this date. We're going to go ahead, split this, and we're going to move on. So then against her better judgment, she agreed to go across the street for a drink. He let the door slam in her face as they left the restaurant. The hostess laughed. Then they went to the bar, and she went to use the restroom. He got himself a drink and then went to sit down outside and proceeded to tell her he'd never been in a real relationship. She is not interested in training a grown man who shows no apparent interest how to be a boyfriend. I completely understand that. Now, I'm going to only preface this with, and I guess it's not a preface, but I'm going to give him a little bit of, I guess, a pass. Only a little bit. And it is not a buy. It is not like a gimme. He probably has no idea how to go about dating. If he's never been in any sort of relationship, if he's never been in any sort of like situation that has even gone to date 3, he has no idea. And that's something you need, like, you talk about. That's kind of where communication needs to come in. However, Google, male friends, these are some places that you can probably get a little bit of information, although some male friends may not be the best sort of information as well either. I completely feel like if he is a 43 male, he's not past his prime. No, that is not what I'm saying. But he definitely needs to step up his learning. He needs to actively be trying to figure out what he can do to make himself more, I guess, more marketable, more appealing. I mean, this is one of the things girls do. We don't always wear makeup for men. We don't always wear outfits for men. But when it comes to getting ready for a date, we really do think about the way we present ourselves in order to make a good impression. So, I would love if he would take into account the way he presents himself to make a good impression. If he is interested in the other party. This is date number 3. Is he interested in this individual? Because at date number 3, you should know whether you're interested in this other party or not, and whether you want it to continue. Because what he has just made it seem like is he's not interested in this other individual. He's just pretty much asked her to pay for the entire meal. Through his actions, he's looked at her and looked at the bill and said, "Hey, are you paying for this?" To which she said, "No, you're paying for yourself." He's then acknowledged that he's paying for himself, so he's gone to the bar, bought himself a drink because she's paid for her own meal. She's not paid for his drink or paid for his meal. So he's bought his own drink. He's not bought hers. So he is showing no level of interest. And so I get it that this girl should cut ties at this point. He is showing no level of interest in continuing any sort of dating. After this date number 3, this is where you cut ties, because she shouldn't continue teaching him. But he also, if he was actually interested, should make it very abundantly clear that he's actually interested. And it doesn't have to be with like paying for things, but he should vocalize, hey, I'm not sure where to go from here. I'm not sure what the next step should be. XYZ. Hey, I've never been in this situation before. Could you help me? That would probably alleviate some of that confusion in helping figure out what some of those next steps should be. Now, she may decide that she just still doesn't want to train a grown man. Again, he's a 43 male. She still may decide that she doesn't want to assist him in his like very beginner dating pursuit. But like, at least then she would know kind of where those actions are coming from. So maybe she's not bitter about why he's acting in those ways. Next one, 40 male. Same female, LH29. 40 male, met at a brewery that he chose near his house on the other side of the city from me. It was 7 p.m. on a Wednesday, and I asked if he wanted to order food, and he'd said, no, I'm good. Okay. It's dinner, so I ordered myself some nachos because I was starving. Yeah, girl, get you some nachos. He then proceeded to eat half of them and spent a solid hour hunched over the bar telling me about his recent divorce. Good luck, my guy. So 1, the first time you grab a chip from mine, I'm going to be like, oh, I thought you weren't hungry. That's going to be my comment. I'm going to be like, I get my nachos right here in front of me. And you're going to come in, grab a chip. Did you ask? Because otherwise I'm going to be like, smack. Be like, did you ask? Because these was my nachos that I'm paying for. Because I'm paying for myself. Because I don't know you. But he said, no, I'm good. Which, to me, I assume that he had already eaten. If he then proceeds, oh, I was just going to have one. Well, fine, just have you one. But then I'm going to kind of scoot them over a little bit. Because, like, again, I'm assuming that I'm kind of like sitting. He eats half. He can pay for half. And then he tells you about his divorce. That's not a date. This is a therapy session. To which you just also bought him nachos. You bought him snacks for venting during his therapy session. I'm willing to bet he doesn't go to therapy. He just goes on dates to mitigate the fact that he doesn't go to therapy. So, I don't know, but that's just the way I'm perceiving it. He may need to find a new therapist for that. And then finally, for poor LH29, because apparently these are her last 3 dates, and I'm feeling so bad for her after these past 2. We matched and were chatting every day for a couple weeks, but our travel schedules weren't lining up, and he wasn't making an effort to schedule anything that could work. See, if after about a week and a half, we aren't like meshing when it comes to scheduling something, I kind of move on. Like, unless there is just super something about this person that's just like really keeping me interested, I'm just like, I'm not going to be dangling on a string. I'm just really not. But Continuing. Eventually, I grew very tired of endless messaging and asked him for a specific date, and we settled on when I would be back in town from a mother-daughter trip. The entire chatting had been a lot of, oh man, me too, things we had in common. A lot of things we seemingly had in common. Okay, so they had a seemingly lot of things in common where they must have been like, oh man, really, you too? Okay, so that would probably make it like you really want to meet this person in person because you just seem to have a ridiculous amount of things in common. That could make it very, like, you don't want, but it also kind of sounds like it could be scammy, but I don't know. So let's see. While I was out of town, he was texting me nonstop with specifics about the area I was traveling in. I hadn't told him many details because I value my privacy/security, and I hadn't given him my last name. Ooh, that's a big red flag. You didn't tell him specifics of your, like, travel details or your last name, but he's telling you where you need to go? Like, okay, if I'm texting someone and they tell me they're going to Chicago. I used to live in Chicago. There are some places in Chicago I love to recommend because they're just so good. Like, I don't know what, if you don't tell me what neighborhood you're going to, then I'm just going to kind of generally tell you a couple places that if you get the opportunity, they would be great options. If you don't, that's fine. But they'd be great options if you get the opportunity. This guy, apparently, long story short, found her on LinkedIn, used reverse Google image search. Oh my gosh, he sounds like he's crazy stalker vibes. Reverse image search and found her work information and was watching her sister's Instagram stories, then texting her pretending like it was just a coincidence that he mentioned that the restaurant that they had been to the night before. Okay. No. That's a big red flag. I'm sorry. No, he's literally cyber stalking you. I don't think I would meet him ever. Like, ever. He's already cyber stalked you. Back to the story. I've already told him that he was coming on too strong for someone I'd never met. This was fully disturbing behavior. Yes. He also worked in cybersecurity at her bank. I would report him to the bank. Report him to the bank. I had to reach out to my banker and make sure he didn't have access to my information. Oh, also, he lied. He was still married. Girl, we may need to take a break. I do see that after all of this to say I'm out, I'm done. I've told my friends that if they meet someone they think I'd like, let me know. Otherwise, I'm good. I have a career I love, a sweet little dog, plenty of friends, and a great relationship with my family. You can't have it all. And see, I feel you, girl. I feel you real hard because I have two sweet little dogs over there on my bed, not 5 feet away. I have some family that I love and they support me, especially my mom. I have a career I love and I don't think I can have everything. And so if it's a relationship that I'm missing, then it is a relationship I'm missing. But oh my goodness, that final one is the one that scares me and should scare a lot of people. With the type of people that are like, not only the scammers that are out there in the world, because I know you guys have heard me talk about like Scamfish or like catfish.com, like, you know, the YouTube channel that really goes after like the romance scammers and stuff. But there's also these type of individuals who will like just do anything at all to like cyber stalk you. I do not understand the level of depravity that these people, like, he was still married. That's ridiculous. So I am so sorry. I completely understand. If you want to start a book club, let me know. Books on deck. I've got some books. We'll just start a book club, and we will just pretend like relationships are off the radar. Well, we don't even have to pretend. Relationships can just be completely off the radar from now on. But anyway, well, this particular individual had her 3 stories, and I think that's enough for right now. I think LH29 has given us the fuel we need for this episode. And thank you so much for tuning in. I will definitely continue on this journey through these terrible stories. I hope you guys are having fun with it, because honestly, I have fun reacting to it, even though they're horrible and they are train wrecks, and we just have to sit here and watch as these people kind of come to the realization that maybe we just have to remove ourselves from the roster. We just have to go, you know what? Remove me from the roster. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and I will see you guys on the next page. Have a great one. Bye.